Again, nephews, we're here tonight to talk about something most men are dealing with quietly. That urge to reach out. Nephew, it's not because you're weak. It's not because you need closure. It's because your nervous system is loud and your discipline hasn't caught up yet. Now, we called tonight's episode While Wanting to Text Her Gets Worse Over Time. And if that title hits you on your chest, it's because you already know what it is. It's true. Most men think time makes it easier. They think silence will bring them peace. They think if they just hold out long enough, that urge, it's going to fade. But for a lot of you, the exact opposite happens. The longer you don't text her, the louder your mind gets. The fantasies get sharper. The guilt can get heavier. And that what ifs starts looping. And suddenly, you're not missing her. You're missing that relief. That's the part nobody teaches you. See, men aren't taught emotional self-governance. You're taught to grind, to perform, to provide, but nobody teaches you to sit down with discomfort without acting on it. So when that urge hits, most men do one of two things. Okay, they either reach out or they turn the pain inward and start tearing themselves apart. Nephews, neither one builds power. Tonight, it's not about tricks. It's not about timelines. It's not about blocking women or playing games. Nephews, it's about one question. If you can't control yourself, who's really in control? Because wanting to text her isn't love, it's withdrawal. Your brain wants certainty. She represents certainty, even if it hurts. And if you don't understand that, you're going to keep confusing anxiety for connection. We got real questions for real men tonight. Men who are doing the work, men who are in therapy, men who are trying to get better but still feel stuck in their head. So we're going to answer them with some real game. Not internet advice, not red pill rage, and not therapist speak.
Game, and listen, red pill rage is very dangerous. Yes.
And if you're watching this live, then this room is for you too. Call in, drop your questions in the chat. Hell, write Uncle Johnny if you need to directly. If you're struggling with that urge to reach out, guilt after a breakup, self-blame loops, or feeling like you lost progress, you're not alone, but you are being responsible. And tonight, we're going to show you how to take that responsibility without hating yourself in the process. Let's get into it. I'm your certified unk. Johnny, go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody watching tonight.
So I'm John Dumbbell. I am a personal I'm a personal trainer and life coach here in beautiful Pittsburgh, PA, where, by the way, we are celebrating the USA winning the gold medal in the Winter Olympics in hockey. It was a great game, and it was. I'm really glad I woke up early to see that yesterday. But yes, sir, USA, baby. I'm here to share my successes, but mostly my failures, to ensure that you young men don't make the same mistakes that I did when it comes to self-respect, self-confidence, self-improvement, women, relationships, personal growth. And I do mean physical, spiritual, mental, whatever it happens to be. If you are contemplating doing something and it sounds stupid, crazy, fiscally or financially irresponsible, and you're not sure if you should do it, I'm telling you right now, email us, comment tonight in the chat. I guarantee you that one of us has made a mistake when it comes to that kind of thing and found out the hard way why you don't do it. So the important thing for you to remember about the kind of guys that Uncle Bill and I are is that we screwed up so you don't have to.
Well said, Johnny. Nephews, bring us your questions. Put them in the chat. Call up. We got you. All right,
so,
Johnny, you want to get started with our first question tonight?
Yeah, we got 4 tonight. 3 that are about dating relationships, 1 that's about fitness. The first one is from Troy. Troy says, I need advice to shut the desire to contact her. He's 29, she's 24. And they broke up at this point. It looks like 2 months ago. He says, we were together for a year and a half. I didn't see it coming, but after she told me why, it totally made sense. I've been spending the last 2 months in therapy and really learning about myself. I know that I need to continue to heal for me and for me alone, and I'm trying. But I just want to talk about her so bad. I want to know how she's dealing with it. I want to tell her what I've been up to. I want to know if if she believes there's a chance for us again. I tried reaching out almost a month ago, but she did not answer, and I called her not long after to see that I was blocked. I get it. But every single day, multiple times a day, I want to reach out. I have other means to do it. It gets worse. Just like our thumbnail. It gets worse. I have other means to do it, but since my number is blocked, I won't do it. How do I shut out the noise? I feel like as time goes on, the wanting gets more prevalent. So, Bill, I'm gonna have you go take it. Yeah.
All right, Troy, listen, I got you, nephew. I need you
Troy,
to understand that the
you're killing
noise
me.
isn't getting louder because you're healing wrong. It's getting louder because your brain had lost access to its regulator. You're not missing conversation, nephew. You're missing that relief. You want to know how she's doing? That is your brain, sir, looking for certainty. You want to tell her what you've been up to. That is your ego wanting validation.
You're
You want to
assuming
know
a
if
girl who's
there's a
not attracted to you
chance?
cares.
That's anxiety bargaining for hope. Nephew, none of that is love. It's just withdrawal. And withdrawal gets louder before it can get quieter. Now, I'm going to tell you why time is going to make this worse for you at first. Because, and like I said, like Johnny tells you every week, we have been through these situations. So early on, your brain thinks if I just hold on, this gets fixed. But when weeks pass and nothing gets resolved, the brain can start to panic. So it starts romanticizing contact as a solution. And that's why urges spike after you've made progress and not before. Now, you don't shut down the noise by fighting it. You shut it off by containing it. And here's how men who actually stabilize themselves do it. All right, we name that urge correctly. Not, I miss her. My nervous system wants relief. 2 is delay. Don't deny. Say, I'm not acting on this for 24 hours. Urges lose power when they aren't obeyed immediately. 3, nephew, stop fantasizing about the conversation. Stop it. Every imaginary conversation is a hit of dopamine. And you're keeping that addiction alive in your head. Now,
dude, dopamine lies so bad.
Well, you need to do things to replace that regulation, not contact her. Walks, lifting, things I like to do are breath work, cold exposure. These aren't cliches. These are how you regulate your nervous system the way that you let this woman do for a time. Now, the urge to reach out isn't proof you should. It's proof your body hasn't learned how to self-regulate yet. And this is why the urge to text her spikes after weeks of progress. All right, Johnny, what do you think?
No, he's right. Well, I mean, think of it as you're not attracted to the woman that you actually saw in front of you. You're attracted to what you thought she could be. You're attracted to the mist she could sprinkle upon you every once in a great while. And for some reason for you, that's enough. But here's the thing. How much have you put into this relationship versus how much has she put into it? I guarantee you have done more than she has. Otherwise, you wouldn't have written into us. So I want you to bottom line her actions. Never mind what she says. She can tell you anything she wants to tell you, and she will. But until you bottom line what her actions and what the things she actually does mean to you, and whether or not they are progressive or regressive to your relationship, I'm going to go ahead and say that you are going to need to be very, 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 very brutally honest with yourself. And it's not going to be pretty. Because from what I hear here, I think she is distancing herself as much as she can without being mean. And you are trying to keep her close as you can without being controlling. Controlling.
Johnny, let's strip the romance out of this and give this man some real talk.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and I can do that, but he won't.
Well, here's the thing. He's fantasizing about a future with a woman, and I can almost guarantee it's for probably one of three reasons. Biology, number one. Men aren't as detached as culture pretends.
And that will grab you every time.
Yep. When he spends consistent time with her, when you guys start oversharing your vulnerabilities, and you experience exclusivity, your brain releases these bonding chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin. These chemicals don't just create pleasure, they create future orientation.
But remember, it only takes one person to feel that, not two. One.
Your brain starts asking, is this safe? Is this long term? Can I build here? And that fantasy isn't weakness. It is how your brain is running a survival simulation.
Easily.
But we need you to understand that biology isn't destiny. Number two, and this is where things I think would get interesting, Johnny, ego and identity projection. A lot of men don't fantasize about having her. They fantasize about who they get to be with her, how stable their own life would feel, and that status of being chosen, the version of themselves that's settled. She becomes a symbol of achievement, security, even emotional certainty. So
yeah,
when
but
that
Bill,
woman leaves, it doesn't feel like you're just losing a woman. It feels like you're losing a version of your future self. And that's why the fantasy gets stronger after the breakup. You're not replaying the memories. You're trying to resurrect identity.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing, Johnny, just real quick, he has unfinished emotional loops.
Yeah.
And I experienced this myself. My brain hates unresolved narratives.
Right.
So when something ends abruptly, when there's no full closure, no gradual detachment, no slow drift, the mind will fill that gap with fantasy. And fantasy feels productive at times. It feels like movement, but it's just mental rehearsal without reality testing. And that's why men who get blocked often fantasize about more, not less.
Yeah. The thing that kills me is he goes, two things. He says, I want to know how she's dealing with it. Why? Who cares? I want to tell her what I've been up to. Again, who fucking cares? I want to know if she believes there's a chance for us again. Again, why do you care? She walked away. It's okay that she did. But here you are trying to base your value off of what your ex thinks of you, whether or not she misses you. You are going so retroactive that you can't see your own future.
Johnny,
stop it.
He doesn't understand that this isn't about women at all. This is about him outsourcing his nervous system regulation. She was that regulator. Now she's gone.
And now he doesn't know what to do because he has no one to tell him how he should feel. My friend, you have a lot. Troy, you have a long way to go, man.
All right.
A long way to go.
Troy, I can tell you have a fear of starting over, too. And I'm going to be honest.
And look, I get that. I do.
building connection takes effort, and vulnerability costs energy. So this is
Yep.
why dating feels exhausting to you. The brain is going to say, "Oh, maybe she was the one." Future fantasy becomes emotional conversation. It's easier to imagine fixing something familiar than building something new.
Here's what gets me though, dude. He goes, yesterday, as fate would have it, I pulled my phone out of my pocket, and as it was calling her, I immediately hung up. In other words, he butt dialed her. She messaged a couple minutes later asking if I meant to call, and I said, no, it was an accident. Sorry. And she replied, oh, it's all good. Just making sure everything's okay. Because, she cares. And that was it. He says, I feel like an idiot.
Okay, here's the thing.
He didn't butt dial her.
You got two types of future thinking, nephew. You have a healthy vision, and this is going to be something that aligns with your values. There's mutual effort on both ends, and the two of you build well together. What you're experiencing is anxiety fantasy. You're telling yourself you need this to work. You can't picture better. I lost everything when she left. It's fear. It's fear-based thinking, and it can get dangerous. All right, when a man builds a future in his head faster than reality earns it, he lowers his standards. You start overlooking red flags. You start tolerating disrespect. And worst of all, you become outcome dependent. Now you're no longer evaluating, you're protecting the fantasy.
Yeah, now that I look at it, you and the next question asker that we have, question 2, you guys have a lot in common because he actually worded the same thing the same way. And here's the thing. You are waiting for her approval and hopefully her acceptance of whatever it is you put out there from what you think is the top of the pyramid. You're not on the top of the pyramid. You are at the apex of the loss of hope because you tried to be the good guy. You tried to be the man. I mean,
Look,
you work too hard to be something that she doesn't want.
now, if you let me give you some real game here, a grounded man allows possibility.
Yeah.
He doesn't build castles before he builds foundations. All right, he's going to think to himself, let's see how this unfolds, not this is my future wife.
Yeah.
Future fantasies aren't wrong, but if your emotional stability depends on them, you're not building a relationship, nephew. You're building an escape.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, I think we gave him some pretty solid advice there. Is there anything you want to add to that before we move on?
Well, I mean, the thing of it is that you have to prioritize yourself. You have to be able to realize that you're the most important person in your life. And if you don't, and I know that sounds arrogant. I know that sounds, over the top. But if you don't feel that you are important to you, no one else is going to feel that you are important to them. And you're going to live the rest of your life wondering why you're this nice guy with great ambitions and nobody wants you. You're going to have to know yourself, like yourself, and be willing to put that version of yourself forward because that's the best version of yourself. If you don't, and if you're not ready to, hey, that's okay. But take some time. Work on you before you get out there. That's all I'm saying. So, question 2, we got from Clark, who, by the way, also butt dialed his ex. God. Okay, gentlemen.
I don't know why you guys have these women's numbers in your phone still.
Even if you do, how do you not know how to lock your phone so it doesn't do that? Anyway, my ex-girlfriend dumped me about 5 months ago, he says. She immediately rebounded, and they've been together ever since. I've been in strict no contact for about 2 months out of the 5. You know,
Okay.
advert. Sorry. Yesterday, as fate would have it, I pulled my phone out of my pocket and it was calling her, and I immediately hung up. She messaged me a couple minutes later asking if I meant to call. And I said, no, it was an accident and sorry. And she replied, it's all good. Just making sure everything is okay. He says, I feel like an idiot because deep down I still love her and want her back. But I feel like that ruined my no contact progress.
Bruh.
I know 2 of you told me that if I'm going to go no contact, I need to commit to it. But I don't know, just just a dumb mistake. I feel like I should have avoided. What should I say to her to show her that this is not the kind of person I am? Bill?
All right. So,
By the way,
now, if
guys,
you know you
please use better grammar, guys. Capital letters at the front. I mean, look, I try to read your letters. I try to read your emails, but please understand that without capital letters, it really does make the difference between helping your Uncle Jack off a horse and, well,
All right, nephew. You want to know if you ruined no contact by butt dialing her? No, sir. You didn't ruin anything. What you almost ruined wasn't the call, it was what you made it mean afterwards. The interaction itself, I'd say that was pretty neutral. You kept it clean, she kept it clean, but the spiral came afterwards in your head.
Bruh.
All right, so the real problem, nephew, you didn't break discipline, you broke frame. You turned all good just checking into, did I mess up my progress? Did this reset everything? Did I just lose ground? That's not love. That's outcome fixation. Now, let me give you some game here on how you should handle yourself, nephew. Here's how a grounded man would handle this. Accidents don't define you, reactions do. You didn't chase, you didn't extend, you didn't follow up, and nephew, that's discipline. Progress isn't fragile. If one accidental moment can undo months of work, you didn't have structure, you had superstition. Stop narrating neutral moments. Stop replaying it. Stop assigning it meaning. Stop checking how you should feel. Bruh. All right. If you
decide how you feel.
Nephew, I just want you to understand, you don't lose progress by being human. You lose progress by collapsing afterwards.
Yep.
And that's why accidental conduct, excuse me, sir, you didn't ruin your progress. I just want you to know that, sir.
No, I mean, you definitely went a little farther than you should have gone, but at the same time, here's the thing. You're told to love her steadfastly. You're told to love her no matter what she's done or no matter what her past is. The problem here is you're loving her no matter what, but her past is still kind of her present. And you're trying to kind of accept that because you can't handle being with anybody else other than her. And you're willing to let a lot of things go that you probably shouldn't let go.
All right, nephews, we come across this all the time. So maybe Johnny and I are not talking about this enough. Maybe we're not hitting the points we need to, because we're going to talk a little bit about tonight about no contact done right. I'm going to give you the real game on it. Now, what I need you to do, the first thing I need you to do is stop framing it as no contact. If you call it a tactic, you're going to keep checking results. Reframe it as I don't want to reach out when I'm dysregulated.
Yep.
That shifts it from strategy to a standard, sir. You're not avoiding her, you're managing yourself.
That means it's
Two,
about you and not her, which it should be.
kill the fantasy first, nephew. Most men fail no contact in their head before they fail on the phone.
Easily.
So you need a few rules here. No imaginary conversations. No, what I'd say if she called. No rehearsing closure speeches. Fantasy equals dopamine, and dopamine equals relapse.
Yep.
If you keep fantasizing, nephew, you're still in contact. 3.
And that applies to romance addiction, gambling addiction, any kind of. Here's the thing: there are addictions and there are compulsions, and what she has instilled in you is a compulsion. Do not fall for it, just like Bill said.
All right, nephew. 3, I need you to delay. Don't deny. Telling yourself never is going to make that urge stronger.
Easily.
Instead, I need you to do things like tell yourself, not today, or I'll revisit this in 48 hours. Urges peak and fall like waves.
Yep.
Men drown because they try to fight the ocean instead of just letting that wave pass.
Yeah.
Number 4, nephew, don't replace contact with surveillance. No contact isn't going to work if you are checking her socials, if you are asking mutual friends about her, if you read into Spotify playlist or even reread old text messages. You're still seeking validation. You just switched platforms.
Yeah.
Number 5, I need each and every one of you to expect it to get worse before it gets better. And this is where most men think something's wrong. It's not. Silence removes regulation. Your nervous system panics. Your brain escalates urges. That spike is progress, not failure. If you quit there, you teach your body panic gets rewarded.
Yep.
Stand on business, nephews. Number 6, you have to build regulation replacement. She used to regulate you. We understand that. Now you need systems, not willpower. You need to do the Johnny Dumbbell challenge at the gym. Shout out to Johnny Dumbbell. I don't care if you're just doing stuff like walking with headphones, sitting quietly doing breath work, taking cold showers, writing the urge out instead of texting it. Whatever you need to do. Discipline fails without regulation replacement. 7, tip for no contact here. Stop making it about her healing. I just want to know how she's doing is your ego in disguise. If she wanted you to know, you'd know because she'd tell you. Respect the boundary, even if you didn't choose it. That's masculine restraint. Number 8, measure progress correctly. The wrong metric to do this would be like, do I still miss her? The right metric would be, did I act on the urge? Did I stay in my body? Did I regulate without outsourcing? Did I hold frame? Missing her doesn't mean you're failing, but collapsing does. 9, you need to have a relapse protocol. If you slip, don't spiral, don't justify, and nephew, don't chase. Just say that
And
wasn't
don't
aligned
reason.
and reset. Progress isn't fragile, but your ego makes it fragile.
Yeah.
And last, number 10, remember the point. No contact is not about punishing her, getting her back, or proving your strength. It's about this. I don't need access to regulate myself. That's the lesson. That's the growth. That's the real game here, nephew. Now,
Yeah, and I feel like that covers it all. And by the way, Troy, Felix, and Clark. Felix is next, but all 3 of you are going to go ahead and get the first 4 weeks of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. We got full toady ball. God damn, full toady ball. All right, I'm going to try this one more time. Full total body workouts that are going to be done 3 times a week. You guys are going to be great. For the first 4 weeks, I want you to do 3 times a week. After those 4 weeks, I want you to add an extra day and do it 4 days a week. And I really think you're going to see some really great results, both physically and mentally. Now, Felix.
Real quick, Johnny, just nephews. I just want to hammer this point home because we get so many questions about this. I want you to understand no contact, that doesn't build power. Learning to sit in discomfort without reaching for relief does.
Absolutely.
All right, Johnny, we can move on now if you're ready.
So we got question number 3 from Felix. Now, Felix says, still struggling with guilt, blame, and self-hatred 4 months later. How do I stop thinking it's all my fault? He says, so I've come to terms with the breakup 4 months after now and come to acceptance that it's over and everything seems like I'm fine with it all and that we're done. The thing that I still struggle with is the self-blame spiral. Like, I know it's normal to blame yourself after a breakup, but I feel like I've made zero progress on it where everywhere else I have progressed. People have told me that it's part of growth or pulling them off a pedestal, and like, it's not all your fault, but no matter what, I always loop on everything in the relationship and during as well as after the breakup that went wrong. It's all my fault and that I was a bad boyfriend and that I'm the one responsible for ruining everything, and get haunted by by the what ifs. Legit, everyone, family, friends, online strangers, therapists have said the opposite. I mean, even her at the time of the breakup before it turned messy, but I guess the harsh words she used the last time we spoke has me questioning that she was able to speak so cruelly towards me. But I guess I don't know. Is that normal? Guys, please write in with better grammar. Seriously. Like, I feel like everywhere else I've made relative progress, but this one thing I'm still stuck in the mud. And if people let me, I'd talk about it every single day, a lot, and I'd make out like I was evil and she was the purest angel alive. So, in other words, I guess he's saying that she is making it seem like he is the bad guy. Literally everything is my fault. My brain does like mental gymnastics to make it so anything I can think of, like even something that would objectively be on her, is because of me. I don't know. Is that normal? How do you overcome that feeling of guilt? Bill, did you understand a word of that?
I did. Okay. All right.
Guys, please write with better. I mean, like, proofread your emails. I mean, I try.
All right. I think. All right. When he's talking about her acting with cruelty. Now, I've experienced this too. This is often defense. It's not character.
Sure.
And men misunderstand what they're actually hearing. And I'll break this down for you guys without no sugarcoating. What you experienced there, sir, was emotional overload that turns into verbal aggression. And this can happen when a woman feels overwhelmed, cornered, guilty, conflicted, or even emotionally flooded. Her nervous system shifts into fight mode. Now, in that state, precision is gone. Compassion is completely offline, and words become weapons, not communication. She's not trying to be fair. She's trying to create distance as fast as possible, and cruel words are often an efficient way to do that. Now, cruelty is often a boundary she can't hold calmly. Now, and women struggle to say, I'm done and I can't tolerate your pain. So instead, they do things that make you pull away. They guilt trip you, try to make you feel ashamed. They stop asking questions. Cruelty becomes a shortcut boundary. Now, if she makes you feel small enough, she doesn't have to hold the line with maturity. Now, there's also guilt externalization. All right. When a woman knows she checked out early, lined somebody else up, switched up her feelings, or benefited from a situation where you lost, that guilt needs somewhere to go. So the mind says, if I make him the villain, I can then be the hero.
Yep.
And harsh words rewrite history in real time. Now, that doesn't
That's
make
right,
them
guys.
true.
Remember, when she does it, it's called self-improvement. When you do it, it's called playing a head game.
It doesn't make them true, nephew. It makes them useful to her nervous system. All right. Once detachment happens, empathy drops. Now, I know, nephew, this one stings, but it's real, and we owe you the truth here. You wrote in. We appreciate you. So we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when emotional attachment starts to break, because empathy often collapses with it. That bond you had, is that softened language is gone. You're no longer a us. You're someone I need to separate myself from in her mind. And cruelty accelerates that detachment. Now, she's talking to her own doubts, not really to you. Please remember that. A lot of the wild things men hear aren't messages. They're just self-justification spoken out loud. When she says you were never enough, or you never really loved me, or I wasted my time.
It makes her feel better about what she's done and what she'll never tell you about. Yeah.
What she really means is, I need to believe this so I can move forward. All right. Men hear truth statements. Women often verbalizing emotional alignment and not facts. And why it hits men so hard, I'll tell you that, because we as men take words literally. All right, men archive statements as evidence. Men assume sincerity equals accuracy. So when she
because
speaks,
who plays that game where we say what we're thinking, right?
When she speaks cruelly, you replay it. You tend to internalize it. And the worst mistake you could do is start to question your own identity. And that's the danger. Cruel words tend to imprint deeper than the loving ones, especially at the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
And that's the trap that men fall into. Men assume if she said it, it must be true. And that, nephews, is a mistake.
Yep.
All right, emotionally dysregulated speech is data about her state, not a verdict on your worth. Now, Johnny, women often get mad at me, and I understand how they feel.
You and me both, brother.
But I also know that feelings change. And when she's ready to change her feelings towards me, she's going to reach out. It always happens.
Yep.
Now, let me give you the game here on how you should be interpreting this. When a woman speaks cruelly during or even after a breakup, you should translate it like this. Not, this is who I am, but this is how regulated she is right now. Yeah. Cruelty is often a sign of inner conflict and very poor emotional regulation, or even an urgent need to detach. It's not a character reference for you. Cruel words at the end of a relationship tell you more about someone is leaving than what the relationship actually was. Yeah. Now that we're done addressing that, because I'm sorry, that just stuck out immediately from his questions. Now, Felix, you want to know if it's normal. I'm trying to make sure I got his question right, Johnny. He wanted to know if it is normal to hate himself like 4 months later. So
it's silently normal, but I mean,
okay. Yeah. Let's say that it's normal, but it's not healthy to stay there.
No.
All right. What you're doing, nephew, isn't
society tells you that you're wrong for having standards.
Well, it's controlled through self-punishment, John. Now, you're telling yourself, if I take all the blame, I can make sense of it. But that's a lie. Your brain is telling you to avoid grief.
Yeah.
Now,
And chaos.
I'll tell you what's actually going on here, Johnny. He put her on a pedestal. You turned
Easily.
yourself into the villain, and that keeps her pure and you powerless.
In his eyes,
And
yeah.
harsh breakup words, those stick because pain imprints stronger than love. That doesn't make them true. But I'm going to give you some real game here on how to break this emotional loop.
Yes.
Nephew, you need to separate responsibility from identity.
Yeah.
You made mistakes, so you're a bad man. No, it doesn't work like that. Stop replaying the relationship like a courtroom.
That's how she wants you to look at it. Yeah.
You're not on trial. Relationships are ecosystems, not verdicts. And please understand the self-blame trap. If it's all your fault, you still feel connected. Letting go means accepting mutual failure. And look, growth doesn't require self-hatred. Accountability without mercy is just another form of ego. Men don't stay stuck because they're guilty. They stay stuck because guilt keeps them attached. And really, that's the whole reason why self-blame after a breakup is going to keep men stuck every single time.
Easily. Yep.
Do you want to keep going on his, or you want to move on to our next one, Johnny? I know.
You know what? I think we stuck it to him enough, and I think he understands. At least I hope he does. But we have one more question tonight, and this one actually has more to do with fitness than anything else. But this is from Dover. I'm guessing he's in Delaware. He says, how do you motivate yourself to go to the gym? He says, I hate working out. I want to be clear. I like being active. I go on hikes, used to be super into boxing, and I played plenty of sports growing up. But going to the gym fucking blows. I used to work out 5-6 days a week, just purely based off of fear of being fat. I haven't worked out in a year now, and while I despise my body, I'm not fat. I'm just a skinny, squishy loser, but I'm not fat. I really like to get back into the gym consistently, but I just have the worst time every attempt I give it. What do you do to get in the spirit of banging around some iron, Bill?
All right. I got to say, nephew, I have some of my greatest workouts on days I don't even want to get up and go to the gym. And that's because winners do it like they love it, even when they don't like it. A great workout has nothing to do with motivation. Motivation is unreliable, but discipline, nephews, discipline is portable. All right. When you don't want to go to the gym, the goal is not to hype yourself up. The goal is to lower the barrier to action and let momentum do the rest. And this is how men who stay consistent actually do it. You stop deciding. You decide once. The mistake is asking yourself constantly, do I feel like going?
Bruh.
Okay. Instead, operate on a rule. I go when it's training time. My feelings about it are irrelevant. Great workouts come from non-negotiables, not inspiration. I would also say shrink the mission. All right, don't aim for a great workout. Just aim for showing up. Tell yourself, I'll do 30 minutes, or I'll do one more rep, or I'll just stretch when I'm done. Whatever it takes. Once you start moving, your body follows. The brain always resists starting, but not doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Johnny, I like to train on autopilot. All right, when my motivation is low, I remove the thinking. I have a certain default workout, same lift, same order, same rest time. And because thinking about it just drains energy, and repetition conserves it. And I think this is why a lot of these elite bodybuilders love boring workout programs.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I think the biggest thing from Dover is that he lacks motivation. And I know how it is at the very beginning to lack motivation. And even when you start seeing progress, it is so hard to make yourself get there 6 days a week. So, Dover, what I would tell you to do is this. On those days, you don't feel like it. And to all of you who are looking to get into shape, if you are waiting until you feel like it, give it up because you're never going to fucking feel like it. Okay. But Dover, your thing, I think what you need to do is on the days you plan to train, when it's time to go, get out of the chair, grab your keys, lock the door, get outside, get in your car, get on the bus, whatever it has to be, before you have a chance to talk yourself out of it. Because by that point, it'll be easier to get to the gym and get done what you need to get done, in 60 to 90 minutes than it would be for you to convince yourself why working out and being stronger and being, of higher endurance is somehow not going to be good for you today. Again, I will ask every one of you, I will challenge every one of you to leave in the comments a time that you said, I didn't feel like working out today, but I did, and now I regret it. I'll bet you I don't see a comment saying that.
Nephew, another thing you could do is lower your expectations while raising your standards. All right. So I think your mindset is kind of along the lines, if I can't go hard, then what's the point?
Right.
But the correct mindset would be, if I train at 70%, I can still leave with dignity. And consistency beats intensity every time.
Yeah.
All right, look, here's what we want you to understand. A mediocre workout will still keep the habit alive. It will maintain momentum, and it reinforces identity. Use the body to lead the mind. When your mind, nephew, it lies when you're tired. You're always seeking comfort. So the body tells you the truth once it's warm. All right, rules.
Let those two entities work together, yes.
Start with walking. All right, start with the treadmill. Do light sets first. Breathe through the discomfort. Energy follows movement, not the other way around. Now, I also, on low drive days, all right, what I like to do is focus on form, control the reps, and maybe shorten my rest a little bit. Like, I'll leave one rep into reserve. Now, this turns the session into practice and not punishment, for me, at least. And I always leave on a win. I always finish with something I'm really good at. A pump set, push-ups, abs, something.
Push-up finishes are great.
You want your nervous system to associate the gym with completion, not depletion. And I'm going to give you some real game here. You need to do a little identity check. What would a disciplined man do on a low energy day? I'll tell you right now, he wouldn't quit. He wouldn't negotiate. He'd adjust and execute. And that's self-governance. You don't need
and never mind
more
that.
motivation to
even
train.
if you
need
want
standards, nephew.
Yeah, even if you wanted to ignore that, ask yourself this. Did I go to bed tonight feeling better than I did when I woke up? Because you got out of the same bed you're about to go into tonight. How do you feel? Better? Worse? Same? And there's no wrong answer here. But I want you to understand that if you're not counting your calories, if you're not doing workouts that, counterbalance those calories that you're counting, if you are not making yourself better, if you are not feeling like a better version of yourself when you go to bed than you were when you woke up today, you have to ask yourself why. And then you got to make a plan to make sure that does happen in the future. Because any goal without a plan, just making a wish, man.
All right, nephew, the workout you didn't want to do but did anyway, that is the one that actually builds you. And it's because you're not just being built physically, you're being built mentally. And that's the kind of strength that carries into relationships, work, and all over your life. Now,
Dude, I have felt the best after workouts that I did not feel like doing.
Nephews, I want to leave you with this tonight. The fact that you showed up tonight, the fact that you're still listening instead of reaching for distraction, this means you're already doing something most men never learn to do. You're sitting with yourself. And that's not easy. Nobody teaches men how to be steady when things don't go their way. You were taught to push, to grind, to fix. But when there's nothing to fix and no one to chase, that's when the real work starts. Discipline doesn't show up when life feels good. It shows up when you're tired, when you're disappointed, when you're lonely, when you still choose to act with integrity. If you're fighting the urge to reach out, if you're battling guilt, if you're trying to rebuild your confidence one quiet day at a time, nephew, that doesn't make you weak. It means that you're becoming self-aware. All right. And awareness is the doorway to power. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to win the breakup. You don't need to prove anything to anyone who walked away. What you need is this: the ability to pause, to breathe, and not to abandon yourself when emotions get loud. Because the man who can sit in discomfort without collapsing is the same man who can lead, love, and build something real. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you are teaching your nervous system a new language. Every time you don't chase relief, you're investing in a future version of yourself that moves with calm authority. Now, that work, nephews, it compounds quietly, daily, and in ways you won't see immediately. But one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just get over a breakup. You grew into a man who didn't need to beg for peace. Nephews, we believe in you, not because you're flawless, because you're willing to take responsibility for how you move. Nephews, stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember this: real strength isn't loud, it's steady. And we'll see you next time. Johnny, you got anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Two things. An alpha does not need to tell people he's an alpha. And two, between now and Thursday, there's going to be 3 days. And Uncle Bill and I are not going to be here to help you or bail you out of jail. So keep the drugs and alcohol to a minimum. But if you do drink, don't drive. And if you do drive, don't park. These accidents cause people. Good night.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you.
Yeah.